Imagine this. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, when someone hurls a comment that slices straight into you. Maybe they mock your appearance. Maybe they belittle your achievements. Or maybe, with a single sentence, they try to make you doubt everything you've worked so hard to build. What happens in that moment? For most people, it's automatic. They explode. They get angry. They rush to defend themselves as though their very identity is on trial. And in that instant, something subtle but devastating occurs. They lose. Because here's the truth Machiavelli understood centuries ago, a truth that still feels dangerous today. He who lets himself be moved by insults is already defeated. The very moment you allow someone else to stir your emotions, you've handed them your power on a silver platter. You've told them, "You control me." But what if there's another way? What if you could reach a place inside yourself where no insult can touch you? Where words aimed at you bounce off like arrows striking armor? Where people grow uneasy not because of your anger, but because of your calmness? Imagine being so unshakable that others fear your silence more than they fear anyone's rage. That's not just fantasy, it's the state of mind Machiavelli hinted at. And it's what this video will teach you. These aren't surface-level tips. These are the darker, deeper laws of mental mastery, the kind of psychological discipline that allows you to stand firm in a world obsessed with provocation. By the time we're done, you'll understand how to become the person who never gets bothered, never loses control, and never gives anyone the satisfaction of watching you break. So before we dive in, I want you to declare this with me. Drop it in the comments. Whisper it to yourself if you have to. I am untouchable. Because this lesson isn't just about handling insults. It's about mastering the battlefield of your own mind. Here's the Machiavellian truth. People can only bother you when you grant them permission. Insults, criticism, mockery, they're just sounds leaving another person's lips. The real power lies not in their words, but in your reaction. And here's where it all begins. Power starts where reactions end. Why you react. The psychology of being bothered. Let's get brutally honest. Why do insults hurt us so much? Why do a few words from someone else, someone who may not even matter in our lives, sting like a blade? It's not the words themselves. It's what they awaken in us. Psychologists have long understood that insults stick because they hit against the fragile scaffolding of our self-image. You might think you're confident, but if one mocking comment shakes you, what does that say? It reveals that somewhere inside, you already doubted yourself. The insult simply pressed on the bruise you were hiding. Nietzsche once said, "What upsets us is not things themselves, but the opinions we form about them." When someone insults you, they aren't handing you pain. They're handing you a gift-wrapped package of words. You're the one who decides whether to open it and let it live inside your mind. Think about it. Have you ever been called a name that didn't fit you at all? Something so absurd that you almost laughed? Maybe someone called you lazy on a day when you'd been working non-stop. You didn't internalize it because you knew it wasn't true. But when someone says something that cuts close to your insecurities, suddenly you react. That's where Machiavelli's warning comes in. The man understood power better than most kings and generals. He knew that once you reveal your emotional trigger, you become predictable. And a predictable person is an easy person to control. The more you react, the more others learn exactly how to manipulate you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When you get angry at insults, you're not defending yourself. You're exposing yourself. You're saying, "Here is where I am weak. Here is where I can be controlled." So the first step in becoming unbothered is radical self-awareness. You have to know yourself so well that no outsider can use your insecurities against you. As Plato said, the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. And until you win that battle, you'll always lose to others. The power of indifference, why calmness terrifies people. Now let's talk about indifference. Most people misunderstand it. They think being indifferent means being weak, being passive, or being detached in a cowardly way. But the truth is the opposite. Indifference is not weakness, it's dominance. Picture two warriors standing face to face. One is shouting, veins bulging, fists clenched. The other is silent, calm, unmoved. Which one do you fear more? The calm one. Why? Because calmness in the face of provocation signals mastery. It says, "You cannot touch me. Your words, your anger, your attempts to shake me, none of it lands." Machiavelli would say that indifference is a weapon. When you stop reacting, you rob people of the very power they sought to take from you. The person who insults you expects a reaction, anger, defensiveness, maybe even tears. When you give them nothing, you leave them powerless, exposed, frustrated. This is why indifference terrifies people. They expect a fight, and when the fight never comes, they start questioning themselves. They wonder if their words were meaningless, if they hold no sway. And that's when the tables turn. The one who tried to bother you becomes the one who is bothered. Here's a truth that might surprise you. People's desire to provoke often comes from their own insecurities. They project their weakness outward, trying to drag you into their chaos. When you refuse to enter that arena, you reveal something rare, true self-command. Psychologists call this emotional detachment. It's not the absence of feelings. It's the ability to control when and how you engage them. And this is the key. Emotional detachment isn't about building a wall. It's about choosing your battles. By refusing to let every word touch you, you conserve your energy for the things that actually matter. Machiavelli's lesson is simple but profound. To rule others, rule yourself first. To silence your enemies, master your silence. To terrify those who seek to break you, remain unbroken. Indifference is not weakness, it's the ultimate form of control. How to build mental untouchability. So how do you actually get there? How do you build this unshakable core where insults bounce off like rain on stone? The first step is detachment from validation. Most of us live addicted to approval. We want others to see us, to validate us, to confirm that we're enough. This addiction makes us easy prey. The moment someone withholds approval, or worse, throws criticism, we collapse. The cure is to cut that rope. Your worth cannot be outsourced. It must be anchored in yourself. Second, practice the pause. When someone insults you, your nervous system wants to react immediately. Your heart races, your muscles tighten, your voice rises. But power is in the pause. Breathe. Let the insult hang in the air like smoke you refuse to inhale. The longer you wait, the more control you have. The other person burns with expectation while you stand cool, untouched. Third, train your mind like a warrior. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius lived in constant practice of this principle. Every morning he reminded himself, "Today I will meet people who are selfish, arrogant, deceitful." Why? Because expectation disarms surprise. If you already know insults will come, they can't shock you. Finally, reframe the insult. Every word aimed at you is an opportunity to practice mastery. Instead of seeing insults as threats, see them as weights in a mental gym. Each time you refuse to react, you grow stronger. This is where Machiavelli's dark wisdom shines. He would say, don't just resist insults, use them. Let every attempt to provoke you sharpen your control. Let every mocking word become fuel for your power. When others see that their attacks only make you calmer, they will fear you in a way no anger could inspire. To be untouchable is not to avoid conflict. It is to walk into it with a stillness that unnerves everyone else. Become the stone. In the end, everything we've talked about points to one image, the stone. Solid, unmoved, unshaken. Rain falls on it, wind howls against it, people stumble over it, curse it, kick it, and still, it remains. That's what it means to never let anyone bother you. To become the stone. Machiavelli lived in a brutal age, surrounded by betrayal, manipulation, and violence. Yet his greatest insight wasn't just about politics. It was about psychology. He understood that the person who masters their emotions cannot be ruled. They cannot be manipulated. They become dangerous, not through rage, but through restraint. And here's the paradox. The more untouchable you become, the less you'll be attacked. Why? Because predators sense power. They feed on weakness, on visible wounds, on easy reactions. But when they meet someone who does not flinch, who does not break, who does not hand over power with every word, they retreat. So the challenge I leave you with is this. From this moment forward, stop being a puppet pulled by other people's strings. Cut them. Train yourself to pause. Anchor your worth within. Let calmness be your shield and indifference your sword. Because here's the truth no one tells you. The world will never stop throwing insults. The storms will always come. But you can become the stone that no storm can move. And when you reach that place, when no one can bother you, when no insult can touch you, you'll discover something extraordinary. It's not just about being unbothered. It's about being free. So say it again, louder this time, not for me, but for yourself. I am untouchable.